Welcome in, folks. We got a special holiday edition. We are not themed out, but we are holiday in spirits. Mainly because I forgot to dress up because life is too chaotic right now. That's just how it's going. So, week 16 has been a fun week. Hopefully you are not needing a miracle on Monday night to survive and advance to your championship. Hopefully your team secured the dub, got it done. I know Jeremy is in quite a few of them. I am on the verge of getting a Scott Fishbowl final. Like, we got some good things going on. So we're both very excited. It was a very up or down weekend, I will say, though. Like, a couple bad performances, some teams all the expectations. That's fantasy, man. That is what it is. But yeah, Mr. Hashtag Kendra Killer, how are you doing today?
Yeah, we'll see. I need Kendra to be, not killed, but like come down with a killer case of the flu at least, and stay out of this one. We'll see what happens. I face him in 2 matchups. I face the Packers D in 2 matchups. That's scarier for sure. But let's see. In my home redraft league, that's the one. I'm currently up 3. I face Kendra in the Packers D. I got Dobbs. We'll see. I need a 2-tutty game from Dobbs this week.
Yeah, it's the whole Green Bay thing is interesting. I have Jacobs in a few leagues. Those ones I either got smoked or I'm going to win. And then I'm going up against him in the best ball league, and this is very sense with Scott's question. He's averaging over 18 points per game, so I think you're fine. But it just really comes down to him getting touchdown or not. That's all it really comes down to. You saw earlier in the year, I think he has 1 game where it was like 6 points. Outside of that, he's just been on fire down the stretch. It's been 20 plus in 4 straight. Like, he's just been really the best, most consistent back the second half of the year, practically since they decided to feature him. So I think he's going to get over 18 because this matchup is juicy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be awful weather. So I don't think they're going to not precipitation or wind. It's just going to be a really cold game. They're probably going to give Jacobs 25 touches in this game. So I think so. I think you're good. What do you think, Jeremy? Think you can get there?
In half PPR leagues, he's had over 18 points in 5 straight in 6 of his last 7. The utilization is there. He's completely healthy. This matchup is not scary. I think Jacobs should go off in this game. I'm actually hoping it because I think I faced Jordan Love in a matchup or 2 as well. I just need Spencer Rattler or whoever the hell's behind center for New Orleans. I haven't even been paying attention because who cares? I just need that guy to go off and score some touchdowns to try and keep pace a little bit, keep that Green Bay defense at bay. But hey, we look for Christmas miracles sometimes. We look for Christmas miracles.
Yeah, one of the Discords we're in, I think it's the Dynasty Lounge. One of the guys, or it might have been Coach Scouts, who, by the way, their team wrecked me. Like my superstar team. Matt Cooper, damn you. Congrats to your team for winning, but man, that was a bloodbath. The highest scoring point total all year against me, and I was like, dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt Cooper and Matt Rupert, who absolutely screwed me as well in the co-owner league. Never stood a chance. Put up a decent week as well. Had a few bad decisions, a few last minute. Barely didn't get Zay Flowers in time, but me and my co-owner were like trying to smash the button. Didn't work. And still, it wouldn't have mattered. Didn't stand a goddamn chance. But yeah, Scott, no, we're going to let the fantasy gods do what they will. Stomach flu, be damned.
A little bit.
We'll see. Kendra's going to do what he does or doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in the Scott Fishbowl, I need probably 10 points from him to feel okay. I get 15.
I'm okay with
Scott Fishbowl is weird scoring, so you can get points a lot easier in that format. So it's not like a traditional league. So yeah, then I'll make top 50. I'll be very happy about that. That would make this weekend feel a lot better. But I think you'll be doing good, Steve. You have McManus, Miller. It's I think you're fine. I don't think Kendra's really gonna have that great of a game because they talked about it. Coach Speak Index was talking about it's gonna be split. They're going to be trailing a lot unless he's getting the passing down work. I don't know. And it's really hard to say because we don't know Mr. Rizzy himself, the Riz man. We don't know how he's going to use these guys, but he likes Kendra a lot. But the way he's talking about it, I don't want to play these guys if I could avoid it. So I would much rather play the Packers than the Saints.
They literally have no one left. I get it. I get you can play Jamal Williams if he's healthy. I don't think he's 100%. I get you can play. Who's the third guy? I heard the name. I don't know if I'm
looking it up right now.
Who cares, right?
It's rough.
The point is Kendra should be the 1A, but I don't know. Are they going, like you said, are they going to run the ball? No. Is Kendra going to be heavily involved in the passing game? Probably not. But who the hell else is? I don't think New Orleans. We talked about it, and you said it the other day. I don't think New Orleans scores a touchdown. And if that's the case, is McManus going to have to do much? Maybe they run the ball a lot more often than they like, and they end up kicking more field goals. As a result, I don't really know. I just think New Orleans gets absolutely stomped in this one.
Yeah, does anybody know the name Jordan Mims? Because he's the name that was brought up.
Oh,
You know how like Jordan Mims. Yeah, exactly. Like I know a lot of running backs' names. I don't know Jordan Mims, so I'm like,
I know
where the Saints are at. That's all you need to know.
Dude, I know a lot of players, bro. A lot of players. Nope.
All right, let's get into this because the show is going to run very long if we do not do this. We'll talk about Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks, and good luck with that whole situation because that offense is just like a train wreck right now. I mean, it's JSN, but I'm sure. But yeah, we'll talk to that a little bit later. All right, let's get into these first games. The first game is Denver and the Chargers, and there was a fun stat that defense coordinator Jesse Minter put out where like the yards per attempt dramatically dropped off a cliff in this game for Bo Nix and that defense. The second half, they dominate. So shout out to Jesse Minter. He runs a really good defense. He's completely turned that team around. They pull the game out. They win 34-27. Herbert's a stud, but Bono's fantasy. And yeah, Sean, it is what it is. Like they played really well in the first half. He didn't go in the second half. But yeah, if you have Bo, you're happy. You're gonna fire him up week 17. Like, yeah, talk about it for a second.
Yeah, played so well in the first half, like absolutely lit it on fire. I think he had close to a perfect passer rating. It was like 15 of like 18 or something. I think it was over 200 yards in those two scores. I did absolutely nothing in the second half. I mean, it's ridiculous, those splits. Ended up with 29 for 40, not a bad day. I think that's 60-ish%. And those two touchdowns, didn't throw an interception, doesn't really put the ball in harm's way, does his best and puts this team on his back day in and day out. You have to love Bo Nix, even in a matchup where he should not be able to put up 27 points. Bo Nix is doing it with Sean Payton's guidance for sure. But outside of Bo, like Sean don't give a fuck because Audric Estime, 9 carries, 48 yards and a touchdown makes no damn sense. So Marvin Mims out there doing his best on limited targets. Javonte, 7 receptions. Like it just makes no sense. I think what makes a lot of sense is Bo Nix is good. Sean Payton knows how to scheme stuff up. And then neither one cares who gets the ball or which one is the best player. It doesn't matter. I think the best player is the Bo Nix, and it shows in the field. Sucks for Cortland Sutton, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, like that's the one thing. Like Sutton's been by far the best wide receiver. He just had a down game. That happens at wide receiver. They're just inherently more risky than running backs because they need to get the ball thrown to them as opposed to their game touches. So it is what it is. Sometimes you'll see guys like go down, like Jefferson a couple weeks ago had a bad game. It happens. He still did enough for you to survive. He gave you double-digit points. Yeah. It's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Yeah, I think Javonte's on the field a lot just because he's the best pass protector, and they don't trust the other guys, and it's just he's not a good pass catcher though. So this whole running back room is going to change next year. It's going to be complicated. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they bring in some better assets to go to that. I think this comment on the free kick is pretty cool because it could transition to the Chargers. Yeah, I guess it's been 50 years since we've had one of those successful. So yeah, that was nuts. It was cool. Justin Herbert is freaking dope, man. Like Justin Herbert is incredible, carrying the squad. And oh yeah, by the way, the news just dropped. J.K. Dobbins coming off the IR next week. So if you have Dobbins, they're playing the freaking Patriots. You could fire up Dobbins in the championship game. Yeah. So if you have that, it's a nice little boost for you guys. This running back room is a disaster outside of Dobbins. Yeah. Edwards did something he's never done. He had like a 40-yard rush, which is like the first time he's done that in like 5 years. Yeah. He had a couple touchdowns. He was good for you. Haskins had a touchdown. Kamani Vidal, my hopes are gone and dead with him. We're just going to move on past him. And I will say, Ladd McConkey, Ladd McConkey is very, very good. There's been talk of him over Marvin Harrison Jr. I agree. I would take him over Marvin Harrison Jr. In Dynasty, that's just where he's at. He's been incredible. If you want to move him in Marvin Harrison Jr., you could do that. The rest of these wide receivers, I don't know, man. Like Darius Davis, Palmer. I thought Palmer would be good. It's not really been in season. Quentin Johnston's been very up or down. It's Ladd McConkey this offense runs through. So Herbert, Ladd McConkey. It's gonna be a fun duo for the next 5 years, maybe. Like it's going to be fun.
You spell Ladd H-I-M from now on. He's the man. Jim Harbaugh with the free kick knowledge, whatever, man. I mean, look, whatever floats your boat, you win the damn game, you're 9-6. I mean, just hat tip to that guy. Fun game.
Yeah, you do remember, Scott, that they were running the old bounty gate up in New Orleans. Sean clearly does not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's all connected. I know it wasn't him, but it's perfect timing with that. Let's go to our next game, which is a bit more depressing. I'm sure you all have heard about the news that happened in St. Dell. He literally blew out his knee. Like, I don't know what that freaking the practice squad call-up wide receiver was doing. He thought he was making a play, and he just might have ruined Tank Dell's career. We will see. He's going to be out basically the majority of next year, if not all of next year. Kneecap dislocated, like ligaments torn. It's going to be a rough comeback for him. So if you have him in Dynasty, you're just going to have to hold it because you can't sell him for anything. So it just is what it is, unfortunately. That Houston offense, they tried with CJ Stroud. He was okay in this game. This is probably the best game he's had in like a month plus. So
Yeah.
18 fantasy points. Let's talk about Mr. Joe Mixon because this is what we talked about. Worst matchup in fantasy going up against Kansas City. Oh yeah, and next week they get a terrible matchup against the freaking Baltimore Ravens. So this Joe Mixon playoff stretch, if you have him in the championship, it's going to be rough. Like it's not going to be fun. I'm not excited.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about Joe Mixon. He's just been incredibly disappointing. I think it's 8 half PPR points in back-to-back games at this point. I don't know what the hell you do with Joe Mixon. You have to play him, right? You assume he scores, but this offense is down bad. Tank Dell was rolling before he got rolled up on, and bones ended up in places where they were not supposed to be. The other thing too is CJ Stroud was hyper emotional after that. Like I get the teammate goes down. I get maybe Tank is out there screaming on the field and you don't know what's happening because you're watching and listening to the broadcast. I get that. And that can be difficult. You are the leader of your football team and you just need to find a way to like demonstrate how everyone else should kind of get through that. And CJ Stroud's a young guy, not hating on him there. At the same time, he needs to figure it out. Right. We need to step into a little bit of maturity here. And for Tank Dell, it's horrible. Agreed. But they had a legit chance to win this game. And after that happened, the team really struggled to kind of find it again.
Well, you saw like in the post game, Mixon was very emotional too. Like Tank Dell is CJ Stroud's best friend. CJ Stroud said that. So it personally affected him on a whole nother level. Right. So like, I get it. I understand where he's coming from. I would be super emotional in that moment too. Sometimes, you like think it's more than just football. And this was seriously one of those situations where this guy was writhing in pain, screaming on the field. So it scared even the Chiefs players. They talked about it too. It's really hard for them to just pick back up football. Some guys can do it. Some guys can't. It just is what it is. He's a young player. I'm sure over time he will adjust and get used to it. It's only his year 2, right? So he's got a long way to go, but it's unfortunate, man. It's the thing that sucks about this game. It's a very violent, dangerous game. Thoughts and prayers to Tank Dell because man, I hope his recovery goes well. Look forward to see him in potentially 2025, 2026. We'll be rooting for you when you do come back. It will be a great story if you were able to make it back.
Yeah, please.
Let's talk about the Chiefs for a second. X go and give it to you because Xavier Worthy, dude, all of a sudden, another double-digit target game. It's finally starting to connect for him. So those of you who bought lower had patience, you are being rewarded. I sold off one of my shares. I'm kind of regretting that. And that team is in the championship next week. We'll see how that goes. But with Xavier Worthy, what's your thought processes? Are you really excited for him moving forward? How do you feel about him after this game?
Yeah, love it. Love it for next week for sure. Not sure who they play. Do you have that in front of you?
Pittsburgh, not a great matchup.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think it's fair for Xavier Worthy. He is playing as close to the Rashee Rice role over the last couple of weeks as someone in that offense is playing. And we know he's hyper targeted. Patrick Mahomes starting to look to him. This was about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that Patrick Mahomes was all of a sudden Xavier Worthy was getting all the first read looks, or at least the majority of them. That has continued over the span. So you like that. The problem is Travis Kelce is borderline unplayable. Noah Gray is even out there just taking some of his targets, even if he's not producing. And Hollywood Brown came back and caught 5 for 45. Which just further muddies this field. DeAndre Hopkins, unless he scores, isn't anything. So I think Xavier Worthy is probably the only piece, and Kareem Hunt came in and absolutely nuked Isaiah Pacheco's value. So I don't want to play Patrick Mahomes. Especially against Pittsburgh. I don't want to play these 2 running backs against Pittsburgh, Xavier Worthy, and I don't want to play Kelce. I get it. You probably have to. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game next week. A lot of people are probably dependent on those guys, and you don't really have a choice with the Kelce because there's not a lot of good tight ends. So we'll have them ranked in some top 12 tight ends. It's not going to be feeling good about it. And to your point, Rashee Rice had a 33% first read target share. The nice thing about what Hollywood Brown does is he allows Xavier Worthy to work underneath because Hollywood Brown has always been a downfield threat. So he could kind of do that. And they talked about using this with DeAndre Hopkins, and I was like, don't do the DeAndre Hopkins slot role with him. That's not what he is. He's outside boundary wide receiver. Yeah. Let him do that. Let freaking Xavier Worthy, the guy who could be a slot wide receiver for you, do that. It helps that offense out so much more. They look more explosive. It gives them an element they have not had. So doing that, having Hollywood Brown comes back, this team's going to be a freaking problem in the playoffs. If that offense gets turned up a little bit, this is how they repeat. This is how they do it. And I'm kind of worried. I feel like they might just do it because the rest of the league, I get it. Buffalo and Baltimore are the 2 that are really standouts. Yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to go in and beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. And it's not easy, man. So like, good luck to the rest of the league because it's too good. They're just too good, man.
For sure. Xavier Worthy in back-to-back games, 11 targets in each, 3 carries in each. They're feeding this man.
Yeah, it's like running through him in the passing. That's what you want to see. Let's go to Baltimore, Pittsburgh. So this game was closer than this score lets on to. But Dangerless Russ is the hashtag because Russ just threw under pressure, threw an abysmal pick 6 that flipped this game, put it out of reach for them, and they did not ever recover because they were down by 7 points. They were driving. Russ got pressured out of the place. He's not that guy he was previously, where previously he could move a little bit more, get away from that pressure. He can't do that anymore. So that's like the game that's taking the biggest hit for us, where he's not making these backyard plays. So end of the day, his stat line was fine. He gave you 17 points, but that interception really killed you. We can also talk about Jaylen Warren. Najee was just a disaster. This is why we talked about not playing Najee, because the passing down guy is Jaylen Warren. He saw 5 receptions in this game. He gave you 14 points. Najee gave you 4 points. Baltimore is trouble, and they play Kansas City next week. I don't want to play Najee in that game either. You could talk yourself into Warren again, but it's like CPAT stole the touchdown, so that touchdown should have gone to Najee, but CPAT got that. The wide receivers without Pickens, man, it's just they need George Pickens back next week. Like, if they want to beat Kansas City at all, they have to have George Pickens on the field. If they do not have him, this offense is going to struggle. I mean, Baltimore, like, we could just talk about freaking Derrick Henry and how incredible this guy is. Like, I feel like teams that had Henry survive or played against him survived a miracle that he did not put up 40 points. Like, he got 20 points. He could have had like so many more points. Like, Henry is just the perfect fit. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just incredible.
Yeah, well, no touchdowns for Henry, right? So that's kind of a big differentiator. But 6.8 yards per carry against the Steelers defense. They were absolutely mauling them. Lamar didn't even do much. 9 just for 22 on the ground from Lamar. He was doing it through the air as he's been wont to do, and that's great. But yeah, Justice Hill went out early, and Derrick Henry was just used all over the place. Rasheen Ali, 1 carry in this game. So it just shows you the big drop off that the coaches feel between Justice Hill and everybody else. Keaton Mitchell, is it Mitchell? Healthy scratch in this game, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Maybe he gets more run if he's out there. But yeah, you just fire up Derrick Henry. On the other side with Pittsburgh, Calvin Austin is interesting. I think if George Pickens remains out, he looked good. But we know that the Ravens are absolutely atrocious. Against Kansas City, I don't think that's going to happen. Like you said, I think it's probably Jaylen Warren and everybody else. Najee is in the same boat as who we just talked about with Joe Mixon, right? It's Joe Mixon and Najee Harris, guys you could rely on. Mixon was way more productive, but awful schedules down the stretch.
Yeah, Mixon's gonna at least get a lot more touches than Najee. Like, he could just get game scripts out in the situation where he does nothing. I will say for the Baltimore passing attack, it was Zay Flowers and no other wide receivers. Mark Andrews was viable for you. He had 6 targets. Those 2 guys seem like they're kind of differentiating themselves. Isaiah Likely, once again, is a thorn in the side of Mark Andrews. He had 3 targets and a touchdown. It's like kind of just chips at him a little bit. But yeah, like those 2 guys, you know what you're getting. Zay's been boom bust, but Zay's the clear guy in that passing game. He's at, what is he at on the season? He's at 109 targets, over 1,000 yards. He's been really good. Not the high-end asset, but he's been a solid wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 most weeks. So I think having him to pair alongside this Baltimore offense again. And Lamar has 37 passing touchdowns on the year. That surprised me when I found that stat. Like, I was like, he's trending for 40 touchdowns on the season. That's crazy. That was setting a career high for him. So
most of his career.
Lamar Jackson is just great. So yeah, it's gonna be him around with the MVP. I don't know. We'll see how it goes now. Probably come down on last week, even though because Allen struggled in this last game. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we can move on to our next game because there's not really too much to take away from this. We'll go through this one quickly. The Giants just get destroyed by the Atlanta Falcons, 34-7. I mean, this Giants thing is just, it sucks. They need to figure out their situation moving forward. I don't know if Brian Daboll stays or he goes. He's really doing the best he can with not much. Tyron Tracy, I don't know what's going to happen to him in this offseason. Hopefully he survives, but he's clearly a hit for them. And then it's Malik Nabers. But the thing about Malik Nabers is, and your point here in this, the high headline is 6.29 yards per target. Like, that's abysmal. So, like, this is the whole thing with him. It's low A-dot. You think because he's such an explosive player, we get it downfield, but we're not. Like, it's just all underneath, just nonsense PPR scam stuff. So, yeah, that's kind of my issue with him and why I prefer Brian Thomas Jr. over him in Dynasty. Like, we're seeing a little bit more, but he's only 21, man. This guy's a freaking superstar. So, get him a quarterback. What's your kind of thought process with Nabers? How high are you going to rank him next year if you don't know a quarterback situation?
Very. I
Like, is
mean,
he
we're
first
going to
round
know the
pick?
quarterback situation. We're going to know the quarterback situation, but he's top 10. He's not top 5, but I think
Yeah.
he's like 8, 9, 10 consistently. And I'm talking about redraft. Dynasty,
Yeah.
you could probably go a little bit higher
Yes.
with him for sure. But we're going to know a quarterback. What the Giants should do, because I think they are going to keep Dable for one more year. Like you said, he's doing a decent job with nothing. And like they're not going to get Ben Johnson. So, like, are you going to go after Bobby Slowick? Are you going to be able to even get him? Maybe you can lure someone with the idea of, oh, we have, the number 2 pick and we're going to get a
Right.
quarterback. So maybe they can get a decent coach off of that. But if they can't, I mean, you could roll with Dable and just, maybe this quarterback class, nobody likes it, right? So maybe instead you just go out and get like a Sam Darnold, which isn't going to be what they assume it is. And then, you re-roll one more year with Dable, see what happens. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Malik Nabers is awesome. Wan'Dale Robinson does not deserve this level of targets, but he should be involved because there's nobody else. Tyrone Tracy will be the third down back, and they will bring somebody else in. It's how it should work. It's going to hurt your Tyrone Tracy bags, but he's still going to be flexible.
Yeah, like I think they're definitely gonna they have Singletary or contract like for another year, so I'm curious to see how that all works. If they cut Singletary or they just they go like a cheap day 3 pick, like because they have so many other needs. I don't think you need to focus on running back, but this running back class is so good. There's a ton of guys that are coming in. There'll be someone coming into town. It just depends how they want to do it. For the Falcons, we talk about Penix and how just kind of like his performance was because he didn't get any touchdowns. That's the hard part for these non-mobile quarterbacks. 202 yards on the game, 18 for 27. He was efficient in the game. Not a lot, not a high ADOT or anything, but it was the Bijan show, like you're talking about. Like another couple touchdowns for Bijan. He is now the running back 3 in fantasy football and will end up over 300 total fantasy points on the year. So if you drafted Bijan, like that is a first round hit because these first round running backs and stuff around it have been a disaster outside of that. So
for real,
loving it.
Just I can't read that. I can't read that headline I wrote though. What does that headline say?
Bijan, pour it on over my Penix, baby. Big Penix energy in this house. Let me tell you what. I will stand up for the UW guys. So yeah, I'll happily take that one. But with this offense moving forward, I guess. Are you excited to see with Michael Penix at the helm because they could win this division? I don't know. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs. What's your thought process with Penix at the helm compared to Kirk Cousins? What are you trying to take away?
I want nothing to do with this season. I'm kind of angry that Michael Penix came in. I get it. They can make the playoffs, and Kirk Cousins has been abysmal. Penix, I think, is fine, but I would prefer he's out of here because this offensive line isn't getting it done, and he's not ready. The combination of those things is a problem for him. They're going to lean on Bijan. It's great for Bijan, because he's going to see all the volume he can stand in this one, 24 touches. So absolutely slaying it. He's going to get that again. Drake London, we have to see if he's going to be healthy because I think it was a hammy in this one. He left early. That spells disaster. Darnell Mooney relevant again. Thank you. But Penix can support these guys. They should have a very good matchup next week. Is it Carolina?
Washington and Carolina the final game. So I think to your point, they can ramp them up as they progress and make the playoffs. Like they ramp them up a little bit, give them more. Washington, you can't just lead on the running game like this because that other team's too good. So that's what I want to see. And Penix had 0 sacks. Like that's the key. Penix does not take sacks. So 0 sacks with Giants. So we'll see if Washington gets more pressure on them. Yeah,
but this team is not beating Washington. So
Washington's good. We saw that with Jayden. I was like, that guy's money. So it's a different level of player at that point. So I mean, it's interesting to see how it goes down the stretch for them. Their defense is okay. They're just kind of, they're kind of in that in-tweener stage. We'll see how they go against Carolina. That'll transition to our next game, Arizona and Carolina, man. Bryce Young's doing things and looking like a whole nother player. I think for the Arizona Cardinals, man, Kyler, get it together, bro. Like, what is going on in this offense?
It's done. He's done.
He's done. It's just, like he's under a fat contract. Nothing's going to change with him for them. Like he's going to be the quarterback for years for them. It just feels like something's missing. It's a miss. They're not hitting Amari Harrison Jr. Trey McBride had like 11% first rate target. I don't know what happened in this game. They just stopped featuring Trey McBride for no apparent reason at all. It was a good matchup. Everything was setting up for him. And it just, one of those games like talk about wide receivers, they go away. But yeah, James Conner, dude, like he hurt himself, came back. James Conner was like, just feature me. I can carry this offense. He's the RB8 on the year, over 1,000 rushing yards. He has 400 plus receiving yards. He's just been very, very good. Do you think there's any chance he's not starting running back for the Cardinals 2025? Do you think they bring someone in, or like what's the process for that?
No, there's no way they bring someone in who's going to take touches away from James Conner. They could bring in a viable number 2. They probably should draft another guy because all the guys behind him haven't been able to do anything. I'm not sure what's going on with Trey Benson, if he's still hurt, or what's happening. Healthy scratch, I don't know. But, he's clearly not the guy, at least not yet, right? So, yeah, James Conner, no one's going to challenge him for supremacy. But with McBride, to Nino's point, like, look, I don't know why teams haven't done this before, but like the game plan needs to be take away Trey McBride at all costs, right?
Yes.
Like Marvin Harrison isn't able to consistently beat one-on-one coverage. James Conner is going to get his. Contain Kyler as much as you can, because even Kyler 8 for 63 and a touchdown, he still got home as well for fantasy, but also for his team, and kept this game close. But contain Kyler as much as you can and stop Trey McBride. And guess what? Formula worked. Carolina wins.
Yeah, that's kind of like it is what it is. The offense is just lacking a piece or two for whatever reason. They're like so close to getting it connected, but they haven't been able to figure it. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. thing's just been super frustrating. I mean, it's a fine rookie season, but it's compared to expectations, he was a borderline round 1 pick. He's been nowhere near close to that good. I think he's what is he? Yeah. He's wide receiver. It's not good. He's wide receiver 36 on the year. So it just brutal across the board. If you drafted Harrison, like your team is probably in shambles because he's such a high pick compared to the other guys and the players, right? For Carolina, Chuba Hubbard, dude, like he was basically going super late in drafts because everyone anticipated Jonathan Brooks taking the job. It's been money for him. Like he's been fantastic this year. As bad as Marvin Harrison Jr., Chuba Hubbard has been that good. He's running back 12 on the year, almost 1,200 rushing yards. Like he still has a decent amount of receptions. Now it's super inefficient. His receiving totals, like they're brutal. Yep. He's got 43 receptions for 171 yards, so it's basically just check down, dump off. But yeah, for fantasy, like it's great. Next year he's gonna do it again. Like if they have him locked up, it was a very smart term move by them. I don't know what else you need to say. Chuba Hubbard just dope. If you have him, ride him into the championship because 32 fantasy points going up against Tampa Bay. There should be plenty of points in that game in the championship. Like I'm just excited to see how he finishes off the season. It's been awesome here.
Yeah, nothing to say. Chuba's been awesome. Bryce Young has been awesome. Not necessarily for fantasy. You don't love him for fantasy, but he did have a really good game on the ground, which he doesn't always have. 5 for 68 and 1. So he gave you that rushing ceiling that like an Anthony Richardson will give you, and went nuclear for you for fantasy. That doesn't always happen, so you can't rely on it, but he's been awesome outside of that one game last week against
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas has been oddly amazing on defense. We saw it last night. Stupid. It makes no sense. They lost their best guys, 3 best guys on defense. At least Parsons came back, but whatever.
Yeah, right. Dallas is an enigma. Dallas is an enigma in itself. Like it's so hard to figure that team out. Like the thing about Bryce Young is he's had 3 carries in all of his games since the bye, at least 3 rushing attempts. So like that's just Bruce's floor a little bit. Now it's not giving you a ton of fantasy points, but like it's been okay. Like he's the lowest amount he's had was last week was 12. It's been 17, 24, 13, 12, 29. Like not too bad, not too shabby for Bryce Young. If you have him, you feel a hell of a lot better than you did at the beginning of the year. I will just tell you that. Let's go to our next game. The Lions are just freaking unstoppable, man. Like it doesn't even matter. No Monty, no Mercy, doesn't even care. Oh yeah, Monty's gonna come back in the playoffs apparently. So congrats to that guy, because I don't know how he's gonna do that. But yeah, this offense, Jahmyr Gibbs, no surprise. He had freaking 28 opportunities in this game. 25 fantasy points. It ran through Jahmyr Gibbs. Jameson Williams, you talked about hyping him up. 26 fantasy points. 5 for $143. That's the YOLO ball. Almond ARSB, 20 fantasy points. Laporta got home with a touchdown. It's just they're just rolling, man. Like them and the Vikings have the exact same record, but like the difference in how people talk about these two teams is so dramatic. People are like, oh yeah, the Vikings, they might be. Everyone's like, oh yeah, the Lions, they're the best. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a battle. I think they play in next week or week 18, and that's going to decide the division. So should be a really fun. Yeah, it's week 18. So that's going to decide everything. So the Lions play San Francisco this week, right? That's going to be a fantastic. I'm really excited for that week 18 match because both these teams are playing out of their minds. And like this division is really good. The Packers are going to make the playoffs. And we're seeing life out of Chicago, which I guess we can talk about that for a second. Keenan Allen. Good God, Keenan Allen is rolling. We talked about hyping him up. Just another 13 targets, 141 yards, touchdown. Like, he's been unstoppable. So of his last 5 games, 4 of them have been 20-plus fantasy points. He's just been getting hyper targeted. The one game with San Francisco, he just struggled in that game. The other games, he's 15-8, 13 targets. He's a featured point in this passing attack.
Yeah.
Rome Odunze, maybe next year, man. Like, it's Keenan Allen. This is why Keenan Allen's been one of the best, just like targeters in the NFL since basically he's been in the league. He continues to do it. Caleb Williams, we have to be feeling a lot better about Caleb too, because he put up 340 passing yards in this game. Yeah, 330 passing yards in this game, 24 fantasy points, like 2 touchdowns, no picks, only 2 sacks from him. So it's a much better game. And this Detroit Lions defense gives a ton of passing yards. So this is why we like Caleb. And if you started him, you're feeling good about that too. So yeah, like, there's good trending directions for this team into 2025. Sure. Obviously, there's going to be some changes, and we'll see. But, like, they're going out in 2025 on a good note, which is all you can really ask based on how it started out.
Yeah, agree. And Keenan Allen is really the only guy you can trust in this offense. DJ Moore continues to get targets, which is nice. And you can roll him out. But we talked about that last week, how we wanted to play Keenan and DJ and no one else. DeAndre Swift did okay, but did not put up the yardage. He did as best as he could, 9 for 20 on the ground versus Detroit. Got there with 3 for 33 through the air. So you're not happy with his performance, but against the Lions, you're happy enough. Hopefully he didn't play him, though. On the other end, Jared Goff, we were concerned about not playing in a dome. One of the 3 games this year, he's not playing dome. He said, I don't give a fuck. 23 for 32, 336, and 3 through the air. The 82-yard bomb to J-Mo on a dime. So just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. You play every Lion every week. If they're playing, when Monty comes back, you play him. It doesn't matter. Jamison Williams, boom bust. I don't care. Play him because he does this.
Yeah, like that's always the upside shot with Jamison Williams. You take the risk, you know it, and when he hits, he booms, man. Like few wide receivers in the NFL do boom. It's nice to see the offense is just so good. Yeah, Goff. No, it's just solid 4,000 passing yards, 33 touchdowns. Like, he's basically duplicating what he did from last year, with more touchdowns. Yeah, it's just I'm excited to see where they go. So yeah, we'll see you in the playoffs. Chicago, we'll see you next year, man. Good luck. Maybe they get to figure it out. Bye. Let's go to the next game and talk about, as I get there, the disaster that is the tanking Cleveland Browns. Because good God, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, what the F was this game, dude? Like, I talked about it before. Like, I hate the wide receivers in this game. No surprise. No one gave you more than 4 fantasy points. It was abysmal. This offense ran through Jerome Ford and David Njoku. Shocker. David Njoku, 10 targets. Jerome Ford had freaking 5 targets and 11 touches. Like, he had a touchdown. And, like, these are the 2 guys and how this passing attack is going to go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So if you have those wide receivers, if you have them in the championship game, do not play them. Do not play Mooney. Do not play Elijah Moore. Anyone. You cannot play them. But you can play the tight end. You can play the running back. So, I don't know. It's going to be rough for these next 2 weeks. They're not going to score many points, but Miami's a really bad matchup and actually the next 2 matchups are really bad for Ford. To get Miami and Baltimore. So it's going to be tough. He's probably not going to be efficient. So I much prefer David Njoku in this situation, but Jerome Ford could be a back end RB2, maybe. Like, it's just the volume will be there at least.
But I mean, he was terrible in this game too, except for that 6-yard run, right? Like, I'm not putting that on him. It's the offense. But DTR 20 for 34. Oh, not bad. 157 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He got there because David Njoku has yak skills, basically. And Jerome Ford was a check down. So yeah, nobody else did anything of note. Like you said, DTR completely unplayable. It's just a mess. The Browns don't care. You should care. Don't play any of these guys. Njoku if you have to.
Yeah, we'll see how this quarterback situation shakes out next year. They got to bring somebody else in. Do not do the Watson thing.
God, somebody.
And we talked about Dorian Thompson-Robinson has the lowest yards per attempt in the NFL. It was like 4.16 or something in this game. It's brutal. He's not NFL quality quarterback. And it's so clear. Like, you watch this, like, they're clearly taking, because Jameis could have been active. He was the quarterback 3, emergency quarterback. Like, they dealt with an injury to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They were like, all right, screw it, let's put him back out there. It's just like, it's a disaster. So, and what do they get? Maybe the next 2 games against Miami and Baltimore, maybe they get combined 14 points in those 2 games. Like,
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. On
no, not 14. Let's go 15 because there'll be only field goals, just like this game.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. 2 in 1 game for the other. For the opposite of the Cleveland Browns is the Cincinnati Bengals, and that is offense galore.
Yeah.
My God, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, just another 3 touchdowns, 250 passing yards. Yeah, Joe Burrow, 39 touchdowns, 4,200 yards passing on the season. If they had a defense, this man would be involved in the MVP discussion. But alas, they have an abysmal defense, which is great for fantasy. Unfortunately for this game, the Cleveland offense is so bad. Cincinnati really didn't need to do much of anything. Chase Brown did his thing, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The guys are all there. The same players each and every week. Yeah, like, it's just great. They are the ideal team for fantasy.
Joe Burrow is the closest thing we have to vintage Patrick Mahomes this season.
Yep.
You saw him being sacked, falling forward and throwing a touchdown pass regardless before his knee hit the ground. He's just an animal. Joe Burrow is. This team won a game, which is great. They're still technically alive, I believe. I don't think they've been eliminated
barely.
even with the wins this week. So they need a crap ton of help for sure. But this team is going to do their damnedest to put up points. And it was spread around. It wasn't only that they didn't have to score. Chase had a touchdown. Higgins had a touchdown. Yoshivas had a touchdown, right? So it was just spread all around. All those guys did well for you, but nobody absolutely blew up. You'll see a blow up next week. I don't know if it's Chase or T. One of those guys will blow and the other ones will be okay. So it is what it is, but you love the production while you have it.
Yeah, they get Denver next week, so that's a tough matchup, right? So it'll be interesting to see. Here's the fun scenario for the Bengals quickly to make the playoffs. They have to win their final 2 games against the Broncos Steelers. The Broncos have to lose their next 2, so the Broncos have to lose to the Bengals and lose to the Chiefs. Entirely possible. The Dolphins have to lose at least one of the games against the Browns or the Jets, so it's probably the Jets. I don't think it's going to be the Browns. Okay. And then the fourth option is the Colts. The Colts have to lose one game too, so Giants or Jaguars. Those teams suck ass.
They could lose to the Jags.
They could. They entirely could. Mac Jones just do it, and the Colts would be hilarious. Yeah. I want to see it. I want to see this air raid offense in the playoffs. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to see it. So let's hope for that. The good fight.
I'm calling it. Bengals make the playoffs. Calling it.
Let's go. Ooh,
yes. Clip it.
Yeah, we'll clip it. I want to look up the odds on that because, hell, I'll throw some $5 on that. See how
I don't think I can bet on it, but throw it for me. I'll Venmo you $5.
Oh, so good. You didn't hear that tax IRS. You didn't hear nothing.
What?
All right. So,
what did we say?
It's week 17. We're getting loopy here, folks. You know what it is. Let's go to Tennessee and Indianapolis. A barn burner of a game. 38-30. 2 teams that could not score. We're like, you know what? Just points galore every which way. I mean, it helps when Tennessee has 3 interceptions in this game. That's part of it, right? And Jonathan Taylor goes absolutely nuclear. Let's start with the Tennessee. I mean, Tyjae Spears, this is what we talked about, right? Our week 17 hero coming up because those receptions, man. And he just really chips in Tony Pollard's role while he's not healthy. Yeah, it's just tough. They get Jacksonville next week. This split is really brutal for both of these guys. Tyjae had 61% of snaps. Pollard only with 39. So I don't know how this is going to go, but these rankings are going to be really close next week. I can already tell you, I'm worried about Tony Pollard. I don't want to play him. It's kind of terrifying.
You have to play Tyjae over Tony Pollard, and it sucks. Because, look, if you were telling me, a similar situation, you have to play, and I was saying this, Isaiah Pacheco over Kareem Hunt last week, you were wrong. If you were saying you have to play, there was another situation where the backup, it's failing me, the backup running back was better.
I'm blanking.
Was it Abdullah and Madison?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, Sincere and stuff. Yeah.
I think there's another one, but we'll get there, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then no one will care because it'll be 20 minutes later. But basically, yeah, Tony Pollard, you can't trust him. He's just not healthy enough. It sucks because they've been riding him all year, and that's why he's not healthy enough. They were not integrating Tyjae Spears. They should have integrated Tyjae Spears more. Ooh, what the hell were they doing? Who knows? But now he's the goal line back, so it's Tyjae. He's also getting the receiving work from Mason Rudolph and check downs. 3 for 39 in this one. You cannot play Tony Pollard. 2 targets, just 5 yards.
Yeah, it's unfortunately is what it is. Just lower floor and lower ceiling. I mean, they could theoretically get out to a lead in the Jacksonville game and really roll with him, but I don't think that's the most likely scenario with Mason Rudolph at quarterback, right? Kind of just is what it is. Let's go to the Colts. The most bonkers game.
Can we just mention that Chig Okonkwo is you can play him. He's relevant. You can play him.
I don't know what the hell is going on. You can play him. So back-to-back double-digit target games. He's like, hey, Calvin Ridley, I'm taking your job. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph apparently loves tight ends. So as long as Mason Rudolph's starting quarterback, right, you fire up Chig. He gets Jacksonville next week. They give fantasy points galore. It's really that simple. You put him in that streamer. He's gonna be top 12. It's just
he's gonna be top 12. He's gonna be top 12.
Yeah, for sure. He might be higher. That might be top 10. Chig. It's probably gonna be a flash in the pan with these few 2 games coming up. But hey, he's gonna have the best season of his career. He's had leads in targets. He already leads in receptions. He's 13 yards away from setting a career high. So at this pace, he'll smash it tomorrow. Or tomorrow, next week. Jesus, I'm all over the place for Christmas.
Might be. Next week starts.
It might be at this point. Who knows? Yeah, he's double digits. So he's had 11, and he had, I think, he had 10. He had 10 last week. He had 10 last week. 8 receptions, 9 receptions.
9 to 10. I think they're saying the Titans Jags was like 9 to 10 was the score.
Oh, yeah. The opposite of this game. Shocker. When you have bad quarterback play and they throw the interceptions and the running game can't be stopped, like stuff like those.
I don't know if it was Levis T-Law, but it was at least Levis Mac. So, yeah, Mac has been a little bit better these days. They figured it out. Brenton Strange. I guess they needed Evan Ingram to go down for the season for Brenton Strange to be involved, even though he coughed it up last week. But, I think it'll be better than 10-9.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. Back in October, they played. It was 20-17. So I'm assuming that's a Chiga Conquo reference. Would be my guess. I don't know. But yeah, yes, Chig should get the targets. I completely agree, Kenny. Let's talk about JT and what the hell. So I put out a tweet where I was like, Jonathan Taylor is saying I'm the best in the losers bracket for your team because he has done nothing really much this year. He's been pretty much a bust, and he just goes bananas in this game. He was a few yards away from setting their record. I mean, he still has like almost 1,100 plus yards on the season. He's been fine, but the fantasy production, he's running back 20. Even with this blow-up game, he's still running back 20. That's the thing where it's just been like it's been up or down. He's missed a couple games. Yeah, it just hasn't been really hit the ceiling. This is the first time. He's been over 20 one other time. I mean, he went basically 40 this week because he just went nuclear. He gets the Giants next week. Like if you have him in the championship, you got to be loving that matchup, right? And then
for sure,
I'll say for Richardson, 11 pass attempts. Like just 11 pass attempts because they did not need to pass the ball. This is how this is good for Richardson. This is how you win with this shit. You just run it and just pound it into the ground. Where like I was saying, run it 40 times with these guys. That's what they did. They ran it like 50 times.
Good.
So.
And they won, right?
Yeah.
And they need to win. So they're going to do that shit again. But especially without Alec Pierce, you saw what that means. I mean, Adonai Mitchell had the deep shot. In this one, Josh Downs was getting home, but like you said, they only threw it 11 times. Anthony Richardson couldn't bomb it down to Alec Pierce because he wasn't available and thus wasn't open. But JT, what's a crazy stat, I think, is since week 8, he's only had – well, let me ask you this question. Since week 8, how many times has JT gone under 20 carries in a game? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
Times he gone under? Oh, I would say probably
under 20 carries.
Half that? Like 4 times?
Twice. 6 out of 8 out of his last 8 games, he's had 20 or more carries. It doesn't seem like that because he hasn't been producing. The thing about Jonathan Taylor is that, like, if they give him the ball around the goal line, yes, great. He's going to produce. And if they're playing a bad defense against the run, yeah, great. He should produce. A-Rich has been stealing his touchdowns, but there were a lot of touchdowns to go around in this one. A-Rich got one himself. Against the Giants, there's going to be a lot of touchdowns to go around. So, like you said, fire him up again next week.
Sorry, I was just looking at my buddy who just put out a tweet or a text in his group chat that said, true wisdom is realizing that vanilla is the best flavor of ice cream. And I was like, white guy with a bland-ass palate, get out of here, bro. Like, this is some bad taste buds, my friend.
Yikes.
He makes a lot of bad claims. Yes, Brett, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. You got terrible taste buds, my friend. So back to this. The Cowboys thing, I mean, you can take it. I don't know. Hurts the concussion. Like, he might miss next week. They don't have to play him, so it's kind of a wait and see. If you want to kind of like hedge your bet with this, sure, you could take it because that game's going to be a lot closer with Kenny Pickett. The offense was nowhere near as good with Kenny Pickett. I mean, A.J. Brown was living good, but the offense, we'll talk about that when we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles game. So I'd say yes.
Real quick, I would say they want to play him because they want that number 1 seed if they can get it overall in the playoffs, and they want to crush the Cowboys and Giants next week. That no mercy for division rivals, especially Dallas, who's been on a heater. They want to put them in their place. The last time they played, Jalen Hurts was the QB3. He wants to play. Maybe it just means he doesn't run as much as usual, but I think they're going to do everything they can to play. I would not take that right now.
Yeah, like it's gonna look good one way or the other. Like we'll know towards it, like middle of the week, right? Like we'll get to the information that the line will shift. So, here this one. We'll talk about this in the Jacksonville game. There was a reason they did that fumble. And it's just old coaches do stupid stuff with fumbles. This was an old coach doing stupid stuff because he ran 3 routes after that fumble. Like they're like, nope, get off the field.
Killer.
It's like, dude, stop punishing guys for fumbles. Like, it's so stupid.
real.
They're going to fumble again. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, this is me going on a rant. So anyways, we'll go to the next game. We're going to talk about the Rams and the Jets. And shocker, one of these teams won. The team that's good won. The Rams. This game was back and forth. Adams started out strong. I mean, Stafford really didn't do much. Rodgers didn't do much either. It was the Kyron show. On the other side, you had Breece Hall do some things. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, and Garrett Wilson were kind of second fiddle in this game. I put Puka Nacua Dynasty wide receiver 2 because why the hell not? Like, outside of Jamar Chase right now, you could make a case for any of those guys. Puka's incredible. This offense is really good with Stafford. As long as those 3 guys are on the field, like, you know what you're getting. It's just they only had 110 yards passing in this game, and Puka had half of those yards. So, like, they clearly leaned into Kyron against the Jets defense, which shows you where the Jets are at. So we'll see how this is moving forward for them. I think that I'm not sure the next game's matchups are. I know they play Seahawks coming. Arizona and Seattle.
Miami.
So like Arizona's eliminated. We'll see if they still have a case to win this division. They could do it. It's gonna come down to Seattle last week of the year. Yep. On the other side, the Jets. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Puka, you continue firing up. Cooper Kupp is unfortunately probably dead. I mean, like you said, Arizona and Seattle. Maybe against Seattle, you fire him up, but there's just not enough to go around, especially against decent defenses. And Arizona claims to be that, and kind of is most weeks. So, yikes.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that. And yeah, to your point, Kenny. Yeah, like. You know very well, being an Niners fan, you've seen Kyron. Like, they love to feature him. And if they could get that growing and working, like, they don't have to pass because Sean McVay loves to run the ball, by the way. Like, he loves
Yes,
to run
he
the ball.
does.
Stafford gives them another element than Goff did over the previous years. Like, he took that offense to another level. Goff's playing on this whole other thing. It's a long one of me saying this. And, hey, congrats to you, George. Like, you know what? So, you know what I'm saying? So, you made the championship game. That's all that matters, man. Now go win that shit, baby. Let's talk about the Jets for a second. What the hell are they going to do next year? Because this team is a freaking disaster. 4-11. Rodgers looks better, but it's just clearly not clicking. They're going to bring in a new coach. Who knows if he even is the quarterback next year? Devontae Adams, once again, 13 targets. The coach, Ulbrich, did come out and say, like, we have to get Garrett Wilson more involved because you could tell Garrett Wilson's furious behind the scenes. Like, he's got to be pissed off because he was the guy and Adams has basically taken his job. So it's just it's not great.
Here's what it seems that happened, and we don't have to talk long about this because I don't want to talk long about this, but Aaron Rodgers got the head coach fired. Aaron Rodgers got the GM fired. I mean, there's been joking about this on Twitter, but I think it's entirely true. Aaron Rodgers became the head coach. There's no checks and balances. Jeff Ulbrich listens to what Aaron Rodgers says, and this is the Aaron Rodgers show. And Woody Johnson knows this, and he's like, maybe we won't invite him back because Aaron Rodgers is essentially on the hot seat for this not working out. So it doesn't make any goddamn sense. But we tried the Aaron Rodgers experiment. Are they really going to do this next year? Are they really going to be able to bring in a coach who wants to work with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I don't think so. So I think what happens, there's 2 things that happen. Number one, Aaron Rodgers is once again the de facto head coach with probably Jeff Ulbrich or some like reincarnation of like, who's the guy? Who's Aaron Rodgers' guy? Who's like was fired already by Robert Saleh?
OC. You're talking about that.
A failed Denver head coach. It doesn't matter. We know who we're talking about. That guy could come back and be the head coach, and then it's Aaron Rodgers running the ship once again. And if they run that back one more year, then we get one more year of that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably out of town. He probably tries to play for someone. Someone will give him a job. Or he'll retire. I don't know, but who cares? The Jets suck, and they're going to suck for a while. Aaron Rodgers set them back a couple of years. Good work.
Yeah, Robert Saleh said he was working for a teenager, aka reference to Woody Johnson's kids. By the way, one of Woody Johnson's kids' name is Brick. Like that tells you all you need to know about Woody Johnson. Like, he's part of the Johnson Trust. Like that company. That's Woody Johnson. That's where he comes from. He's kind of funny. Yeah. Like I was kind of doing a deep dive of Woody Johnson. I was like, this guy is a disaster. So no surprise the Jets under his leadership have been a disaster. It's probably not going to change till Woody Johnson moves on. And he's probably going to pass it down to his kids. So I'm sorry, Jets fans. It's probably not going to get any better. Similar to Chicago. Like you have these families that have run these organizations for so long. Something needs to change. So they need to get outside. Yeah. Like this is the touchdowns that they've gotten. I know Puka hasn't played a lot this year. That's also the problem with the more touchdowns. But yeah, like they limit a little bit of what Kyron does, but Kyron gets so much work. It's fine. It is what it is. Hey, you too, Kenny. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Let's talk about the next game, Philadelphia and Washington. And we talked about this a little bit before. Philadelphia They were rolling with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts suffered an injury. Then Kenny Pickett came in. Kenny Pickett severely cost him on one of the plays because he had a hot check. Like, it was a hot read and unblocked guy. He should have seen it. Freaking Saquon leaks out. He has a wide open check down, doesn't take it, gets absolutely eviscerated on a play. And even the announcers were like, that's on Kenny Pickett. He's got to know the hot read and when he's this is the problem with backup quarterbacks, kind of like that. So my thought process of Kenny Pickett is, can they do anything in the playoffs with Kenny Pickett? Do you think they can even win a game with Kenny Pickett?
No, can't happen. They should have beat this Commanders team. This Commanders team is not this good. The defense has been struggling of late, but not to the point where they should be giving up this many points. The whole game that the Eagles offense plays week in and week out is run the crap out of the football, leak the clock, play good enough defense. They've been doing that for a couple of months now, and it just didn't come together here because Kenny Pickett is not that guy. 14 for 24 is not going to get it done. 143 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. It really hurt them. Saquon Barkley, 29 carries in this game. I don't have that in front of me, but it's probably a season high because he's been getting there on efficiency. 29 carries is a crap ton in this day and age. And also, didn't have a reception in this game. Wild. Now, he got the 150 yards. We're still happy about Saquon Barkley on volume getting there for the rushing title. We're hoping that, that's back on track for the next 2 weeks. Hopefully he can get there. But yeah, we need Jalen Hurts. This team needs Jalen Hurts. They need to get the bye. Kenny Pickett is not, look, I get concussions can get serious, but if this is a 3 to 4 week concussion situation for the Eagles, they're in trouble.
Yeah, the only guy happy that Kenny Pickett's quarterback is AJ Brown because he got 15 targets. Outside of that, like the offense takes a massive hit. So congrats, AJ Brown. You got the targets you're looking for.
Sure.
Your team is dramatically
I
worse,
did like
so.
that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's good for fantasy, but the 15 targets only gave him like less than 100 yards. So like, it's just, if it's getting 15 targets from a good quarterback, that's like 150, 200 yards. On the other side of the ball, good God, Jay Daniels is a special offensive player of the year. I know we were getting the hype from Bo Nix and stuff. Stop. It's Jayden Daniels' job. He's taking it. Yeah, Brock Bowers. I wish you could be a quarterback because that's the only way you get that job, my friend. So, yeah, he really did enough. It was hard for him to get there. I will say he had to earn it because Philadelphia defense is still really good. It was all over the place. Brian Robinson with 2 fumbles really just killed you if you started Brian Robinson. 10 for 24, 2 fumbles. We didn't really want to play him against the Eagles. He had about as bad as game as you could possibly get. The wide receivers, Terry McLaurin got there with the touchdowns. Alamaze Dakias got 2 touchdowns. He had the game winner late. And then Zach Ertz really didn't do much of anything. So it was a Jayden Daniels show. Like, it's just, I'm excited to see what's the record. Like, they have 10 wins? Yeah, 10-5. So
10-5.
They'll be the 4, probably the 4 seed going in the playoffs. So, because they're not going to beat the
maybe
Eagles
5.
So maybe 5. Yeah, it depends.
No, they're not going to be the 4 because the division winner of the
West.
West.
Oh, it's 4. You're right. Yeah. So you're right. That's not bad. They'll be the 5.
But here's the thing: is like nobody played Zacchaeus, nobody played Jamison Crowder. You played Brian Robinson, you were unhappy. You played Jayden Daniels, you're ecstatic. Terry McLaurin did what he needed to do against a tough Eagles defense that was focusing on him. He looked really good doing it. 5 for 60 and 1 isn't ideal for a top end wide receiver like Terry McLaurin was been all season, but against this defense, you're very happy with that production.
Yeah, the last 4 games he's got 6 touchdowns, and that's really carried for him. I mean, he's still been really good outside of that because the lowest amount of yards he had is 60 in those games, but it's just all coming together for Terry McLaurin on the season. He's the wide receiver 5, folks. Wide receiver,
killing it.
And yeah, there's a trade I'm looking at in my dynasty league that I had that I gave him up. I got Nick Chubb in the first like years ago. It was so we did this trade in 2021. My team was tanking, so I traded Nick Chubb for Terry McLaurin and like a first. I gave back a second and a couple other things. It's an interesting deal just looking at it now. But like up until this point, Terry McLaurin's that really better than the wide receiver 14. So yeah, I got Deontay, Terry McLaurin, and it's no wait. I'm mixing this deal up. We're gonna stop talking about this. I got a first round pick out of the deal. That's what I'm going for. So that's all I care about. That was some rambling, so we're just gonna go past that.
Wait, I think give me 10 seconds. No, it wasn't me. Never. I traded Terry McLaurin, but not that league. Moving on.
Yeah, I was fading Terry McLaurin, but that was one of my worst fades.
Yeah.
He's going the 7th round, and I was like, I don't like it. That was bad. Yeah. Sammy Ballgame. Sam Darnold does his thing once again, takes down my Seahawks. 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. You do that compared to Geno Smith with 2 turnovers. That's the difference in the ball game, folks. 246 yards passing. Justin Jefferson was really good. Jordan Addison was really good. TJ Hawkins didn't let you down, but the 2 wide receivers really carried the way. Aaron Jones was fine in this game. He gave 12 fantasy points. Overall, though, like, what's your thought process with Sam Darnold? How do you think they can make a legit push in the NFC to win the NFC with Sam Darnold? Do you think they're that talented of a team around him?
No. They're very good, but this team does not beat Detroit in the playoffs in Detroit. They could be in Minnesota, but they don't beat Detroit.
Awesome.
I don't think they beat a healthy Eagles team, but they got a shot for sure. Sam Darnold is the problem, not the solution. 22 for 35, 246 and 3. But one thing is for sure in this game, and I'm going to look it up just to make sure I am correct. But at least the thing that is for sure is he did not hold back Justin Jefferson from Justin Jeffersoning, which has been our problem with him all season long. Justin Jefferson got there on yardage and on touchdown. In fact, in the last 3 weeks, Justin Jefferson has been averaging 100 and it looks like about 10 yards and a touchdown and a half per game. He's been killing it. 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games, 2 double-digit touchdown games, twice over 130 yards receiving. This is what we love to see from Justin Jefferson and what we come to expect against Green Bay. I don't have any issues with that either next week. You're firing him up. He was the wide receiver 1 this week. He's going to absolutely crush. Is the team great? Yeah. Is Sam Darnold great? No.
Yeah, like he's the wide receiver 2, and the way people talk about him on the air, they're like, "Oh, he's been so disappointing." I'm like, dude, he's on pace for another 1,500-yard season. Like in the last 4 games, to your point, he's averaged 112 yards in those games. Awesome. His targets have been great. Like he's just so good. Like I know we were talking about him versus Chase. Obviously, Chase has hit the ceiling. Jefferson has not. But like if you drafted Justin Jefferson, it's not killed you. He's been still really, really good. Yep. He's been a strong part of your teams, and he's come on down the stretch like you talked about those games. So yeah, like if you have him, you're excited. Let's talk about the other side with the issues of Geno Smith in the offense. But the one guy that has been rolling is JSN. He has taken the wide receiver 1 job, and it is his. He's like, this is mine. I'm the captain now. Another 12 targets, 95 yards, touchdown. The one thing you want to see from JSN is a little bit more down the field because these targets are a little low ADOT, and that's the thing that bothers me with it. If they push it a little bit more, it helps offense a little bit. But still, like 12 targets, he was good. DK got a touchdown, which was nice. But like the rest of the guys, Geno Smith got there based on the touchdowns and volume. He got you 24 fantasy points, but AJ Barner caught a touchdown. Nobody was playing that, dude. Tyler Lockett was non-existent. The running back room was just Ken Walker had 8 receptions, so that's like what the hell. But yeah. It's just kind of up and down the Seahawks offense. It's just the offensive line continues to limit them. Geno Smith, constant pressure, turnovers. Only 2 sacks. It's a Sam Howell, probably like 8 sacks. But it's just it is what it is. You know, the Seahawks are just borderline fringe. It'll come down in the last week of the season. Man. I don't know. 8-7, they're hanging on.
We talked about it a few weeks ago. I mean, this is just what it is with a terrible offensive line. And Sam Howell, you were saying it. Sam Howell, people don't know how bad or how awesome Geno's been behind this line, because when Sam Howell comes in, they're going to know. Sam Howell came in and people found out. And so Geno back in there, 31 of 43, 314 and 3 touchdowns. I don't care about the 2 interceptions because that's just going to happen behind this offensive line. It's got nothing to do, very little to do, I'll say, with Geno Smith. Impressive game from him. But JSN is the shorter yardage guy compared to him and DK Metcalf. You wish DK Metcalf would get more targets, but I mean, it's another reason that Tyler Lockett is irrelevant. That's not solely Tyler Lockett. He's the deep threat. And you just don't have time to get it to him.
Yeah, the turnovers have been a problem for Geno. He's got 15. I think he's right there in the league leaders. 17 touchdowns, 15 interceptions is not a good ratio. Like that's so I don't know what they're going to do with Geno in the offseason, if they're going to continue to have him the quarterback next year or not. It's going to be interesting what the team does, but they got to invest in the offensive line. Like, I don't care. Like whatever, if you put a rookie quarterback behind this offensive line, it's going to be up or down a lot, similar to what you're seeing from Geno. But you know, that's the issues. They knew this going in. I remember when the GM came out and said guards are overrated and overpaid, and everyone's like, look at your fucking guards you're playing right now. They are a disaster. So this is me just going on a rant for a second about that. The offensive line issues. This is a good way to transition to the New England Patriots. Drake May was good in this game. Drake May was doing his thing. He looked very nice. Drake, you guys have a franchise quarterback. I will say that. Only 2 sacks for Drake May in this game, which is good. Buffalo Josh Allen did not play well in this game. Like, they had a shot to win this game. He did almost enough to get it done, but like I guess Antonio Gibson's the thing. I don't know. Like he had 10 carries, 2 receptions in this game. Him and Stevenson were back and forth in this game. Keyshawn Boutte he's just come alive. He's got freaking 500 yards out of nowhere.
He looks good. He looks good.
He does look good.
Doing it too.
This looks like the guy LSU that everyone was hyped about. Douglas had a decent role in this game. Like you kind of know the guys are. The other wide receivers, good luck here. I would talk about those guys. Those rookies that they drafted this year. Oh boy. not great. But Hunter Henry, another 9-target game. So hey, Hunter Henry's just gonna keep doing his thing. He's chugging along. He's old and injured, but hey, he's consistent. At least you got that going.
Yeah, it's Drake May and Ramondre, and that's about it. I mean, if you have to start Hunter Henry, I guess Butte looks great. I think you roster him and bench him. He's been pretty consistent, but you just don't know. So, I mean, he's a nice dynasty stash that hopefully you already have. But yeah, I don't know what the hell this team's going to do next year, but Ramondre is locked up. He's their starting running back next year. Gibson is probably on this team because he's not on another team. And so you have the running back room basically solidified. You need to go out and get wide receivers, a bunch of them. You need to go out and get offensive line help. They will do that. The team is another year away, I think, from being a potentially dynamic offense if they get everything right and Drake May develops. That said, yeah, I mean, we're like 4 or 5 years away from competing for real in the NFL.
Slowly got to build it up, right, and make the improvements on the other pieces. To find a couple pieces each year, you slowly add them, tack on. By the time Drake May's 25, you might have someone that's going to be 10 inches. It is what it is with the rebuilds. It happens. Gibson's under contract for 3 more years or 2 more years, so they have a dead cap, but like they could cut him if they want to, if they drafted a running back they really like or something. But yeah, like it's just seems like a waste of money to go do that route. But you know, teams do weird stuff all the time. Let's move on and talk about Buffalo and James Cook. My goodness, James Cook is so much fun. Only 11 carries, but it does not matter. This dude's hella efficient every season. He's over 5 yards a carry, just 14 touchdowns on this year. That's incredible. So he's on like only 182 attempts. He has 14 rushing touchdowns. He has 2 receiving touchdowns, 16 total touchdowns for James Cook. Does it help that he's in Buffalo absence? Absolutely. Not getting a ton of works. It does not matter. He only played 36% of snaps, by the way. So I don't know. I'm just saying, hey, Buffalo, maybe James gives James Cook some more snaps, work it out. He's really good. I think that might be a good idea. But they clearly want to mix and match Ty Johnson in, Ray Davis, who Ray Davis was 5 for 12. But the key in this game is Josh Allen just struggled. Like Josh Allen was on an all-time heater the last month. Came back down to earth hard, and he crashed. They won, so they didn't lose. But yeah, this was a bad game for Allen. Yeah. The wide receiver core was just unusable. No one had 4 points. Dalton Kincaid 5 points. So the only guys you could use were basically James Cook in this game. Anyone else you played was a disappointment.
Yeah, Allen hurt you for sure. Let you down in the fantasy playoffs. That nobody saw that coming against the Patriots team. But James Cook was electric and crushed it for you. They want to use Ty Johnson. Even though he only had 1 target in this game, Josh Allen loves throwing the ball to Ty Johnson. And Ray Davis, I don't know. He looks good. These numbers are awful. 2.4 yards a carry. He doesn't really have great statistical output, and he's clearly behind Ty Johnson, who's 26 years old. Does Ray Davis take a step forward in the offseason? I don't know, but James Cook isn't going anywhere. This team can draft another running back, but they don't really need to. I think what they need to do is they need to probably draft an alpha wide receiver. The Amari Cooper experiment is not working, and invest in the defense so that they can make a serious run at a Super Bowl. Hopefully they have a serious run in them this year. I don't see it. Not after this game.
Yeah, I think the Keon Coleman stuff's weird because before he got injured in week 10, he was trending in the right direction. You're seeing all the good stuff with him. I think he's probably still partially injured and he's playing through it, is my guess. But yeah, like Amari Cooper just looks kind of dust at this point. I don't know. Like 14 targets one game and then just nothing. He's been so up or down for Buffalo. Maybe it's an injury for him too. We're just about making a lot of excuses for this wide receiver room. At least Khalil Shakir has been the most consistent. But yeah, even this game, 2 for 6, 22 yards, like their offense struggled in this game, which is probably the biggest surprise of all. Like I thought they were going to roll. So, grass thinning on the Patriots defense were looking good. So it might just be a one-time thing. Who do they play next week? Buffalo gets the Jets and then New England again. Like they should be 14-3 going into the playoffs. I think they'll be just fine. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to win the 1 seed or not because Casey probably has it, but they got a shot. So they got a shot.
I think it's Mapu. I don't even know my own cornerbacks, but I think it's Mapu who got the interception. He played great in this game out of freaking nowhere, outside of the interception as well, just pass breakups and stuff. He looked really good. Obviously, Christian Gonzalez doing everything he can to shut it down, and they didn't give up. And Buffalo didn't run the football. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's things that you do against certain teams, and against New England, run the football. They need to run the football more.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that definitely could work for them.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's sometimes we get frustrated because we see it, we're like, what is going on? What are you guys doing? And obviously we don't know what's going on with the team, but it is what it is from the outside perspective. We're like, all right, guys. Let's go to the next game. San Francisco. Yeah, your season's been over. But hey, Debo looked like he showed some life. I will say this game was just weird, like watching it. Miami, Devon Achane was finally efficient again. But let's talk about Debo for a second. Brock Purdy was fine. He had one interception. He was 313 yards, 40 attempts. This offense is clearly their running back room. I played Taylor in one of my leagues. I severely regret that decision. But I took the shot on it. I was like, we'll roll the dice and see how it goes. 8 carries for 24, nothing. Kyle Juszczyk. This offense, the running back room was just nothing. Like, couldn't get anything else. They really used Debo. To your point, he had 5 carries in this game. We talked about this before. Juwan Jennings was okay. Ricky Pearsall showed a little bit of signs of life. No surprise. George Kittle, stock. He's just a stud. 8 for 100. Like, he's just, George Kittle's incredible. I think he's tight end 1. Tight end 2 on the season. He's just doing it once again. Yeah, like it's nice to see Debo look more like himself because we haven't seen that for weeks, months. It's been a long time. So that continues going next year. Nice.
Fighting his ass off to get in the end zone as well. Like a beautiful play. I think it was I think it was right before the half or whenever it was, but really just struggling to get in the end zone, and he looked great doing it. So they need to give Debo more carries because it turns out this coaching staff believes Isaac Guerrero is good, and they're right, and they believe Patrick Taylor is bad, and they're right. So like let's not even worry about Izzy. Let's not even worry about Keyshawn Vaughn. Let's just give the ball to Debo 5 times, and let's just pass the crap out of the football. You have to run it enough, which they know, but 40 pass attempts for Brock Purdy, you love to see it. That's why I got there. Kittle, Debo, even Jennings, good enough. Good game.
Yeah, Debo's got 1 more year on his contract. He'll probably be gone after next year because they have a bunch of dead cap attached to it after that. So it'll probably be the last year in San Francisco for Debo, and I don't know. He's probably not going to age well the way he plays. We'll see. It's just nice for him to show a little bit because this season's been so up or down for them. I don't know, man.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, sir. Come back from that knee from the ref. John Jennings has been clearly a better wide receiver. We'll see if that goes. For Miami, Devon Achane, dude, is a dog. He's been super inefficient this entire year because that running game has just been abysmal. This game flipped where like they were able to just absolutely just eviscerate San Francisco on the ground with Achane. Like it was super efficiency. The passing game wasn't great. Tua was 22 for 34, 215. Really not great game for Tua. Tyreek Hill was meh. They involved Malik Washington. I think the loss of Jalen Waddle was very clear in this offense. Jonnu Smith was good, 6 for 62, but like they needed something. They tried to feature Malik Washington in the first half. It did not work out.
They tried to get it to him.
I mean, this is what happens with like these day 3 picks, right? Like sometimes you think you have something and you're like, you know what? That first round guy, Jalen Waddle, we have. He's really good. Jalen Waddle's not him. So it is what it is. H&M was nice. They didn't need to do much against San Francisco, thankfully, just because San Francisco was a disaster. So Miami has a shot for the playoffs. I don't like they're similar to they have the same record as Cincinnati. I think they're both 7-8. So one of them could get the final seed. We shall see. They have games against Cleveland and the Jets, so they should probably win those final 2 games and have a 9-7 record or 9-8 record in the playoffs. So we'll see. If you play them, you're going to play the guys you fire up next week. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's go to our next game. Talk about 2 really bad teams. Jacksonville, Vegas. Brian Thomas Jr. Holy hell, Mac loves himself for Brian Thomas Jr. Mac had 247 yards passing. Brian Thomas Jr. had 132 of it. I think he's your wide receiver rookie one. I know I'm league neighbors, all this fun stuff. Like Brian Thomas Jr. is him. We love some Brian Thomas Jr. If you want like freaking late neighbors, go for it. But Brian Thomas Jr. is incredible. Like it's just offense rolls through him. He's great, man.
Yeah, nothing to say about Brian Thomas Jr. Stud. Is he the rookie wide receiver 1? Maybe that's a discussion for another time. We'll table that for now, but chew on that because the answer is maybe. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. I don't know who you're picking week to week. We thought this could be a Bigsby game. The game script actually kind of didn't really go that way, and it was still a Bigsby game. So he got there early, and Etienne did next to nothing. So what do you do going forward? I don't know. Nothing. You do not play these guys. If you're in your championship, you do not rely on them. I know the matchup is fine. Who cares? Just move away. And you can't even play Mac Jones. You play Brian Thomas and nobody else.
Yes, and the whole Brenton Strange thing, like we were talking about earlier, they have an old dude as a head coach, and old head coaches love to punish players for mistakes, and they view like a fumble as an assault to their character, and they were like, "Get off my field." So I don't know what they're gonna do with Brenton Strange. It's probably gonna be really hard to play him this week. Maybe they bring him back to the role, but like with this whole situation playing out, We just don't know. He'll be in that questionable tight ends like the Komets and those guys. It just sucks because we were really excited to play him. It did not work out. Sometimes this happens because things happen. It's not just, like they're not a 1-0 simulation. They're players. They get emotional. Things happen. For the Raiders, Brock Bowers doing his thing. Both of these two guys are, if you have one of the guys, the team that smoked me in my Dynasty Home League, has Brian Thomas Jr. and he has Brock Bowers. Amazing how that can change your whole dynasty perspective when you hit on two really good players. Brock Bowers, a nice 11 for 99 in this game. O'Connell is a clear upgrade over Ritter. He can support guys. It's nice to see.
Yep.
Amir Abdullah, if you played Abdullah, we talked about him for a second, 5 receptions, 20 fantasy points, clearly over Madison. I will say that, even though Madison had more carries. 7 free. They split this game, but I would much rather go the Abdullah route over Madison. Jacoby Myers, a bit of a letdown game. It is what it is.
Agree, but Madison also 4 for 29 through the air, so he's getting those checkdowns, and Aiden loves to check him down some footballs to the running backs position. So if they're going to split, Madison can still get there in the receiving game. They both scored the touchdown, so you're happy with that. But I agree, Amir Abdullah is more dynamic, so you like him better.
Yeah, in the receiving game, he just gives you a little bit more. So you think they'll go through that route, but I don't know. They got games against New Orleans and the Chargers, and the New Orleans team is a disaster. We're going to see that tonight. That offense is a disaster, so they could feature Madison. Yes. It's just good luck with the New Orleans. I don't know, man. Kenny Miller, do something because that offense is so bad.
Don't do anything, Kendra. Please.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill me. Don't kill me, Kendra. Come
on. Where's Brock Bowers? He's tight end 1. Yeah, Brock Bowers is tight end 1. It's going to be interesting that we had not interesting. It's really cool. Back-to-back tight end 1 seasons from rookie tight ends, right? Sam Laporta last year. Now we have Brock Bowers this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be Brock Bowers for the next 5 straight years because he's that good of a player. And maybe they find a quarterback situation. Hey, Kirk Cousins, come on to Vegas. You can support Brock Bowers. I don't know. Just thought process. We'll see how it goes. They have Minshew. I think O'Connell's on their contract. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of changes to this Raiders team, we will say, because Pierce is getting yeeted out. So whatever you're seeing this year, they'll have Jacoby Myers. They'll have Brock Bowers. The rest of it, TBD. I don't know. Salute to you guys. Yes. Let's go to our final game for the day. Tampa Bay and Dallas. And to Jeremy's point earlier, Dallas won. Tampa Bay is 8-7. Dallas is 7-8. They're right there. Tampa Bay's defense has not been good this year. They were not good in this game either. Cooper Rush, we talked about, you could play him 16 fantasy points. Baker Mayfield had to fight his ass off in this game to give you freaking fantasy production. He did that. The nice thing is for Baker Mayfield, the ascension of Jalen McMillan gives them a secondary life in that passing attack.
Yes.
K. Otton's kind of fallen off. McMillan's slotted into that role where it's going to be, with freaking Chris Godwin's significant knee injury, I don't know if they bring him back or not. I don't think they're going to. We'll see. I think we could be looking at Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan as this top 2 wide receivers on the team next year. So if you want to get McMillan early, like now, or still discounted, I think you could do that. Bucky, once again, I know a couple people were talking about this on Twitter where they were so furious that Bucky was splitting work with Rachaad White. I would like to see Bucky get more work, but they're trying to keep him fresh. So I get it, but Rachaad White cost them this game with that fumble down left where they were driving, they had a chance. Rachaad White fumbled. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully next year Bucky gets a lot more work on it. It's just tough.
This bodes well for Bucky next week, which is why we wanted the Bucky experience. We wanted him for this game. We wanted him for championship week. Remind me who they're playing this next week. I know it's juicy. Yeah.
Carolina, baby.
And Carolina's been a little bit better on defense since DJ Warren came back. It does not matter. Bucky's going to destroy this team. And Rachaad White still got there. He almost had the damn touchdown that he keeps getting. But he still got there on just, 10 touches, 7 for 50 through the air for Rachaad White. But Bucky is him 16 for 68 on the ground and the touchdown, and then 3 for 24 through the air. You weren't blown away by Bucky's performance, but it was a very, very good performance for you. And he's going to absolutely smash next week. I can't wait.
Yeah, he's been far more efficient than Rachaad White. But the thing is, until this coaching staff changes, and if that changes, that's not necessarily good news for Bucky because things could dramatically shift. But Rachaad White, they love Rachaad White and passing downs. He's going to play a role. He's never he's had the lowest snap share he's seen all season is 48%. That's the lowest for Rachaad White, which means even this week he's been 50+ the last couple of weeks. So against Carolina, you're gonna be able to play Rachaad White. It just is what it is. It's just
Word of caution on Jalen McMillan. Cade Otton did not play in this game. Just keep track of that. If Cade Otton doesn't play, Jalen McMillan is a must flex. If Cade Otton plays, just be a little wary because that Carolina game can get out of control and it could just be the running back show. So just be
100%.
careful with that.
Yeah, we wanted the Mike Evans blow up against Carolina. Actually, the last couple of weeks, we really haven't got it. Like the Carolina game, he was good, 8 for 118 and a touchdown. But like with kind of back and forth with Mike Evans, like in Vegas, we wanted, he hasn't done it. This game, he got 8 targets, but it was only 5 receptions for 69. He did not have his blow up game. We'll see if he gets the next week against Carolina. I think he will because Mike Evans is very good. I don't care if he's old; he's fantastic. For Dallas. Dowdle was a guy that we were really excited to play. Just a bad performance from him. 13 for 23, 3 receptions for 28. Elliott freaking took the touchdown from him, which would have saved his day. Ezekiel Elliott comes in for his 1 touch at the goal line at the 1 yard line, gets touchdown, and I'm like, dude, do you need Ezekiel touchdowns? What are we doing here? No surprise. CeeDee Lamb is just awesome. The rest of the wide receiver core, Jake Ferguson was good. So like, you know this team and what you're going with. CeeDee Lamb. If you got any discount when the injury happened to Dak and you're able to get CeeDee Lamb, congrats to you. He's been awesome for them. And Jake Ferguson comes back, 9 targets. It's these 2 guys moving forward. And then next week they get Philly. It's going to be a tough game. I'm not super excited for Ferguson, but you're going to play both these guys. And I think Rush could be playable, but he's like a back end QB2. So it's just kind of just what it is.
I was really struggling all week between Ferguson and Kelsey. Thankfully, that team is awesome. It didn't matter that I played Kelsey over Ferguson. But yeah, the answer was Ferguson. Next week, the answer is not Ferguson. The answer is barely CeeDee Lamb. The answer is not Cooper Rush. And Rico Dowdle, what the hell? You can't play any of these guys next week. And it just is what it is. You know, CeeDee Lamb, you flex him and you pray that he can do what Terry McLaurin did. And he can. He's amazing.
Yeah.
You just hope Cooper Rush can, throws the ball 35 times and complete some of them to Lamb.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Yeah, against Philly last time, he still had 10 targets. He only had 6 receptions for
sure.
That was the first game. That was like their first game where they were dealing with Dak injury. It was brutal. That game was an abysmal showing by the like they were clearly not prepared to roll out the Cooper Rush experience. It's gotten a hell of a lot better since then, but that game was everyone was panicking, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is brutal. This is like Wan'Dale Robinson on steroids. Like it was bad. That's our week 16 recap. We got fun Monday night game, New Orleans against Green Bay. Just start the Packers, guys. Just make it simple. I don't know what Saint you want to start. I mean, I guess you can make the case for Henry Miller. I don't even feel good about it, to tell you the truth.
Do not make the case. Stop it. It's possible. I doubt it. Luke Musgrave activated off of IR by Green Bay. That means what the hell? I mean, Tucker Kraft's been the guy over Musgrave, but if Musgrave is out there blocking as he should be, that means he's out there potentially receiving the looks at the expense of everybody else. You're not playing Musgrave, but he takes away a little bit from everyone else on this offense. Damn it.
Yeah, Kraft's like in the first 4 weeks when Musgrave was playing, 96% of snaps, 80, 67, 86% of snaps. Like he still has a really good role, I think. And I don't think they're going to rush like Musgrave back on the field, right? So just came back. So I think we just maybe lower him a little bit, but he's still a back end tight end one as it is. It's like,
but this tells you they want it to be a Josh Jacobs game.
Oh hell yeah! 30 carries, just feature Josh.
Yeah, fire. I mean,
the Saints defense.
He's gonna. He's going to win your league this week, tonight. So enjoy Josh Jacobs.
Yep. He could have multiple. They're the worst EPA. They're against rushing. Like the Saints are. DVO, like not EPA. They're bottom 5 at both, I think. So prepare for the Josh Jacobs. If I was Saints, I would just be like, screw it, man. Let's just put 11 guys in the box. If you're going to cook us, don't let him eat Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, for real. And Romeo Dobbs, 2-3 touchdowns. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go. We want points in this game. We want points. The weather sucks in this game. It's going to be really cold. I don't know. I feel like Green Bay could just sit on it and not really do much. So we could have a low game. That's the concern. So I'm not excited. But yeah, if you have Packers out here, fire them up. It is what it is. All right. That's our
good luck tonight.
Yeah. We're going to be doing, the waiver wire show tomorrow is going to be kind of weird. I don't know. It's going to be a short show. There's not going to be much on it. Since it is Christmas Eve, folks, like it's just going to be stuff going all over the place. I have family in town, so it will be kind of hectic, but I will be on screen. Yeah. So I will do that for a little bit for y'all. We'll do that. And I think we're going to do our ranking show on Thursday, right, Jeremy?
We'll try for it on Thursday for sure.
We'll try for Thursday. So yeah, enjoy your all's holiday. We will be back on Thursday doing the rankings. We'll try to put out our rankings before that so we get the Wednesday games and stuff. So we'll have them out. Go to our website if you want to see them, but we're not going to do the rankings before the Wednesday games. So if you have Wednesday games, reach out to us, use our social media, whatever we can talk to you guys. But yeah. That's right, man. We're gonna quit talking. We're gonna get out of here. So enjoy your all's holiday, and yeah, we'll be back on. I'll be back on stream tomorrow, and then we will see you on Thursday to talk about some more football. So yeah, see you folks. Take care. Listen up.